You think white people hate black people?
Yes.
Or they just don't understand this?
Hate us. They understand us. Nigga, they made us. They educate us. What you mean they don't understand us? They educate us. 95% of school teachers are white in America. What you mean they don't understand us? Most of them are our probation officers. Most of them are our judges. What you mean they don't understand us? They're reading our files. They know our history. They know our history better than we know it.
But they don't understand. They don't understand the struggle, though. That's what I mean. They
do understand the struggle. They created it for us to struggle. They know what the struggle does to us. Believe me. We don't know. That's why we talk about. That's why we try to embrace the struggle like it's something. That's why we put the struggle over a middle class life. You didn't get it out the mud.
Yeah.
Mouth. I'm not kidding you. I know some of you was raised in the deep South and you was raised by prejudiced people and bigoted people. You better get that out of your system. You better get it out of your system. It'll cause you to suffer right along with those masters. It'll cause you to suffer right along with them. These are God's people. And I know that there's wicked in white races and wicked in black races and all that. I'm not justifying none of that stuff. I'm just saying God knows what happened to the black race. He knows how they wound up over here, and God is going to reimburse the black people for all their trouble and all their labor. You watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you.
I think white people are so triggered by black joy because they have zero control over it. And white people are all about control. And anything they don't get to control and manage and dictate freaks them the hell out.
They don't get to be the leader.
So white folks, why don't we want to know black history? Are we afraid? Are the powers to be afraid that if we really learned to appreciate the history of black culture in this country, we would see an example of love, an example of excellence, and an example of humanity that we could actually learn from, that we would benefit from, because we don't have enough of that in our culture. Is that what we're afraid of? Are we afraid of losing our positioning in a culture that's more so about winning and positioning than about life and enjoying life? And that's the concern with missing out on Black History Month. Race for What, thanks to the idea of Macon Taylor, is interested in also seeing February as Black Future February. But we have to understand that history. We have to understand why we should appreciate these people that have done nothing to harm us, no matter how much harm we have done to them, and how we can learn from them how to be the best version of ourselves. So while this world is crumbling around us as white people are scrambling around during this time trying to figure out what should I stand for, how about stand back, learn some Black history, and appreciate and invest in Black Future for February. Thank you. Race for What?
Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. I recently came across a video that really sat heavy with me, and I felt like we need to sit down and have a real conversation about it. We are seeing a very unfortunate trend lately. It feels like as soon as a black man starts doing well, building their own space, and most importantly finding daily love, there is this specific group of white people who gets incredibly angry. It's most unbelievable to watch. You have to ask yourself, why is this in 2026? The sight of a black people being happy, self-sufficient is seen as threat.
Is white supremacy culture, and the 10th characteristic of white supremacy culture is
fear of open conflict. Fear of open conflict has burned so many careers, it is not even funny. This is the most corporate thing I've ever heard. If you are harmed at your job, there is an unwritten expectation that you are just supposed to shut up and take it. This is what it looks like in practice, and this is from dismantlingracism.org. It says people in power are scared of expressed conflict and try to ignore it or run from it. And notice it's saying people in power, so the people that actually can do something about the conflict. When someone raises an issue that causes discomfort, the response is to blame the person for raising the issue rather than to look at the issue that is actually causing the problem. This is what is ruining so many people's careers, a characteristic of white supremacy, that fear of open conflict. There are so many people that have been relentlessly bullied, antagonized, and attacked in the workplace, and when they bring the issue up, they are seen as the problem. This is what makes these environments so insufferable. The people in power refuse to take any responsibility for the team dynamics. And in fact, they willfully ignore the problems in the organization and call it leadership. In my opinion, this is a nightmare for neurodivergent people for so many reasons. First, your justice sensitivity alarm is going to get fried in an environment like this. There are so many injustices happening all around you, and you are not going to just be able to look the other way. Other reason is that you're going to be seen as different. You just fundamentally stand out as different in an environment like this. And if something happens to you, you're not going to just take it. You're going to want to fight. And even if it's justified, it's not going to matter because you standing up for yourself, you advocating for yourself is going to be seen as what the problem is, not the harm that's being caused to you. They want you just, once again, to shut up and take it. So why is this happening? It's happening because one of the tenets of white supremacy is that fear of open conflict because people believe that you're supposed to be polite, you're supposed to be good. And if you're not doing that, you're a problem, even if something bad is happening to you. That means they see raising issues as being impolite, as being rude, as being something that you're not supposed to be doing, no matter what it's about. That means that they only care about optics. They do not care about integrity. When it comes to conflict, they will happily bury it, then address it or fix it, no matter how detrimental it is to the organization. So often, the people that are getting fired are not the people that are actually causing the problems, but the ones that are pointing it out. Here are the antidotes from dismantlingracism.org. It says, role play ways to handle conflict before conflict happens. So actually invest in the idea of conflict resolution instead of just running and burying your head in the sand. Distinguish between being polite and raising hard issues. Don't require those who raise hard issues to raise them in an acceptable way, especially if you're using the ways in which issues are being raised as an excuse to not address those issues, which makes sense. Once a conflict is resolved, take the opportunity to revisit it and see how it might have been handled differently. So I don't know, like learn from the things that happen that go wrong in the organization and actually get better, because otherwise it's just a Groundhog Day over and over and over again. You're just really reliving the same bullshit every single day where people pretend like all the toxic shit that's happening is not happening. If the company that you are working for is just blindly following the rules of white supremacy and they don't seem like they even notice that it's happening, then they are not going to change. They have no reason to change. They don't even see that they have a problem. So that means you are going to continue to suffer. If you're not in a position of power at this company, then you are again, I'm going to say it again, at the mercy of it. So that means that sometimes your best option to not participate in white supremacy is to walk away. If you're a neurodivergent woman and you're sick of corporate and you're ready to build something on your own, but you don't know where to begin, I've opened a community. We have 7 members so far, including myself, and we are working through together how to get out of corporate. We'd love to have you. We need to do this together because the system is designed to keep us trapped in our shitty 9-to-5s.
White people, come to the front. When you see a video of someone of another race saying anything that could be taken by white people as like offensive or like othering or just like shitting on white people, basically, your anger in that moment is not directed towards that person speaking or any other group. It's your own. It's your own. Like, you should be upset with your own group, with other white people, and the decades, generations, hundreds of years that white people have made it miserable for other groups. And that's why they have the opinions that they do now. Your anger should be towards other white people because they're not doing enough to make people in other groups feel comfortable, supported, and safe, and feel like white people are not a risk and they're not a threat. So yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of time like videos pop up on my For You page of people of any other race. Specifically, I'll say it's black people for my For You page, like particularly. And every time I go in the comments, it's a video of somebody talking about how like they can't really count on white people, or they don't even like directly say it, but it's kind of like insinuated, you know, that not enough white people are doing enough and that kind of thing. And then you go in the comments and you see all these white people that are playing victim and saying things like, well, but I'm an ally, and like, why are you singling us out? Because like I do as much as I can, and like I do everything that I can to fight for you guys. Yeah, clearly not enough if you're in the comments saying that. You need to learn more, because you need to understand why you feel that way and why you commenting angrily on that thread in those comments on that video. You need to understand why that's not helpful and why it actually shows that you're not a safe person. You're not one of the safe white people. Like, you're not one of the ones that is safe to be around for them. Like, you have to understand that. And your anger should be directed towards other white people because they have created an environment and a space and a society where other people that are not white have to feel that way about white people. Like, that's what it is. It's not because of anything other than that. Okay? Of course, there are extremes on both sides. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, like, baseline. You need to understand that your anger is misdirected. It's misguided. If you are directing your anger towards the poster or anybody of any other race that is saying these things, or feeling a certain type of way about white people, you need to understand that that's not their fault. It's white people's fault for creating an environment in which they have to feel that way, which they do not have a choice, might I add. Okay, I hope that made sense. I just remember when I was first unlearning everything from my small little hick town, okay, country, like cornfields everywhere, hardly anyone living there, and all Christians, okay. When I was unlearning everything, that was a big one for me. And it took me embarrassingly long to unravel all of that in my head. So I'm sure that other white people are dealing with that too, and I see it in the comments on these videos. So that's who this video is for. But yeah, just, you need to learn more about why they feel that way, and realize that whenever you get angry or you're like, well, I'm a good ally, so like I don't want to be singled out, and why do you always have to talk about white people and like shit on us all the time, blah 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 blah. They have valid reason, more than valid reason. They have proof and evidence and generational traumas and horrific history to back up their feelings towards white people. Okay, the best thing you can do is educate other white people that are not educated yet, so that the world is less scary for them, and then we're all able to live happily ever after. Okay, one day, hopefully. So yeah, just wanted to put that out there. All right, white people, let's do better. Let's do better. Okay. All right, love you. Bye.
They can't stand to see people getting their value from within. Like, you know how many white people have asked why are like, they've literally, I've seen it in the comments, I've seen it in videos of white people saying, black people, like, how do you get your joy? Like, how are you so happy? Like, why, like we know that we've oppressed you for all this time. How do you still stand up and smile and dance? Like, they want us, and that's not to say that they want us to, well, some of them certainly want us to, like, not be happy. But even the ones who do not actively try to make sure we're not happy, they feel like we should be unhappy. And so they ask, why are you so happy? And that's because they themselves have been trained and brought up to think that their happiness comes from external validation. Y'all, that is what it is, because white culture, white American culture is very consumerist. It is very, you get your value from having the biggest house. You get your value from having the hottest husband and the prettiest woman. You get your value from having the most, the highest paying job. You get your value from having the highest net worth. That is literally how a lot of white Americans define their value, is if I have this external indicator that everyone else can see that says I am worthy. The higher that number on the stock ticker for them, that is the higher their value. And and when that is where your value comes from, you will always look at people who are poor or people who have no money and be like, why are you smiling? And it's just like, because my value does not come from some artificial number on a board that someone else made up. Like, what? That is crazy. But another thing is, when you have the mentality of my value comes from things outside of me, you have the mentality that everyone else has that same mentality. And so so then it becomes a whole lot of projection. It becomes a whole lot of projection of like, I would be insecure if I were in your place, so why aren't you insecure? Like, it's just like, so the projection starts, and it's like, and that makes them mad as well, because they just expect you to think like them, and it's like, absolutely not. Hustle culture is one of the external validation traps. It sure is. And that goes into, y'all don't let me get on my history bucks. Because the Black Panthers, y'all, they were very anti-capitalism, very communist, pro-communist, pro-everyone working.
I'm going to keep saying this with my whole chest, because some people are not deep thinkers. I understand that you're not a critical thinker. This is not for you. It's just not for you. Scroll up. So, my point today is, well, not today, but at this moment, like, why does Black joy bother some white people? And some other groups, but majority is white people. And not all of you. You know what I'm talking about. You ever notice how the group of Black folks, like, they come together laughing, dancing, and just vibing, and suddenly it's labeled as too loud, too ghetto, or too much? Jealousy. You know why? Because they couldn't strip that away. And it's surviving. But let's be real. It's not about the volume that's the problem. It's the vibrations. It's the freedom. It's the fact that we can still find joy after centuries of trying to be stripped of who we are. We still make something out of nothing. You understand? See, Black joy is like disruptive in certain people. It challenges. And where we're supposed to be broken and angry and silent, it's like loving, living, and celebrating. So it's not just confusion. It's threatening to a certain group of people. Because Black joy, for us, is power, is resistance, it's healing, it's ancestral. Of all the things they said we could not do, it's lies. Remember, we were here way before other groups were here. And now our happiness is not a performance. It's reclaiming who we said we always were. So the next time somebody looks uncomfortable with your Black joy, remember that you're not the problem. They're just uncomfortable and can't believe that after all this time, we are still celebrating who we are and who we are meant to be and who we are growing to be. So tell me, have you ever felt like your joy made somebody else uncomfortable? Let's talk about it, y'all. To me, I don't give a flying fuck who feels uncomfortable. This is my life, my body, and if you feel uncomfortable, move the fuck away. Right? Because where I was for Black Bike Weekend, we were on the side, I'm not gonna say the grown folk side, but we like our peace. So of course, it was a mix of Black and white people. Like, we all around each other. We all talking to each other. You think anybody grabbed their purse because they see bikers in leather? No, they're used to it. They're talking, they're waving, they're like, oh, let me tell me about your bike, blah, 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 blah. These are people talking, not afraid and not jealous. There are some, but we didn't cross any this weekend, okay? But have y'all ever experienced that? Like, you having joy, you having celebration, especially with all the graduates. Did you see those comments talking about Black fatigue in the comments of Black joy celebrating the college? See, the point that I'm trying to get at is no one who doesn't, how can I say this? If you Black, you understand. It comes naturally, and it doesn't matter what state you from. We all have a common denominator of celebrating our Blackness, and people can't stand that. People can't stand that. And I'm not just talking about in America. We go somewhere else. Black joy is celebrated different ways, but we still have that common denominator of celebrating of what we achieve regardless of the fact. Okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. Anyway, happy Tuesday.
Alright, racists, let's talk about your distaste for black joy. Racist America fumes at the sight of happiness, especially when that person smiling is black. It's as if this country specializes in anger Olympics. Being a little too happy disturbs the patriotism. 3 or more laughs in one place is like being investigated by a mall cop. I'm gonna need to see some ID. Because deep down, they believe that pain is the only state that black indigenous people are allowed to live in. Black people start laughing too loud at their cousin's cookout, they throw on some Frankie Beverly, they start dancing with their auntie in a sundress while the ribs are sizzling. Instantly, their lives are in danger. It's like watching a perfect example of a case study on people who have a problem with control. It's like their obsession isn't just with control, it's like with the optics of it as well. They want to be seen as dominant in the space, because they seem to disappear when there is black joy. When you throw your graduation cap in the air, surrounded by your entire family in matching t-shirts, they don't see achievement, they see defiance. Because in their minds, success was never black people's storyline. The truth is, black joy is a glitch in the racist lies that they feed themselves. They built a whole myth of superiority that only works if you're miserable, delusional, insecure, jealous, and mediocre. When black people shift the world with their joy and laughter, the racist's entire self-image starts to crack. This is why racists gatekeep golf courses, ban urban dress codes, side-eye loud laughter, and call the cops when the music's just a little too bassy. The unnecessary hate and determination to ruin black people's happiness is a disease, a brain-eating amoeba that siphons the cognition out of America's privileged society. And what hurts the most is that happiness and black joy is more infectious.
It's a deep-seated belief in control. For a long time now, the system was set up to view black people not as equal citizens, but as subjects to be managed. When you see people reacting with rage to black success, it's because they still have that gatekeeper's mindset. They feel like they should be the ones to approve of your rights or your status. When black people strive without asking for permission, when they bypass the old system and do better in their own, it shatters the illusion of control. It circles of hate that has lasted for generations. But there's the thing, the joy is a form of resistance. There's a spiritual side in this. There is a belief that we are protectors, and even when others try to place curses or roadblocks on our way, the judgment eventually shifts. Some might even say the tables are turning, but the response to that shouldn't be bitterness. It should be the look in the mirror. The most important part of all of this is what we do with our energy. I've heard it said that you can't let them take away your joy, because joy comes in the morning. This is so powerful. We are going through a lot, and the world can be a dark place. But talking to the Most High and keep your spirit intact is how to make it through. This shouldn't be about shaming anyone. It should be a call to people to keep on dancing, keep on. Being happy is the best way to handle this situation. If God is handling the justice part, our job is to stay happy and keep loving one another. No matter what you try to take, they can't take your spirit until you let them. It's sad to see people so consumed by hate that they can't stand to see others smile. But we aren't going to let that stop the progress. We are going to keep building, keep striving, and keep finding reasons to celebrate life. I'm saying this because I want to stay safe, and stay safe is happiness. God loves you, and God loves you too. Go in the comments. How are you protecting your job? Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Please subscribe to my channel and give me a follow.